Hello, friends. Welcome to the fascinating world of global psychology. In this video, we will discuss the journey behind measuring method of psychology, through which we can assess human behavior easily. So, without wasting time, let's start this video. Psychological methods are the techniques and tools we used by psychologists to study and understand human behavior, thoughts, emotions, and mental processes. These methods help researchers gather information, test ideas, and build knowledge about how mind works. They have grown from simple guesses to a rich set of scientific approaches. Let's explore how these methods developed, who shaped them, and how they have evolved. Long before psychology became a science, people were curious about the mind. Ancient philosophers like Aristotle thought about how we learn, feel, and remember, but they relied on thinking and talking, not testing. For example, Aristotle believed that the heart was the center of thought, not the brain. Later in the 60s, philosophers like John Locke suggested the mind starts as a blank slate and is shaped by experiences. These ideas were like the first sketches of psychology, but they lacked proof or experiments. The real adventure began in 1879 in Leipzig, Germany, when William Wundt opened the world's first psychology laboratory. Wundt wanted to study the mind like as a scientist studies nature. He used the experimental method to measure things like how fast people react to sounds or how they describe their thoughts. It process is known as introspection method. His lab was a game changer. It showed the mind could be studied with precision. Once a student, Edward Kitchener, took these ideas to America and used experiments to figure out how mind works, laying the foundation for modern psychology. By the early 20th century, some psychologists thought introspection method was too subjective. It relied too much on what people said about their thoughts. So, John B. Watson started a new movement called behaviorism around 1930. He said, let's only study what we can see behavior. This led to the observational method where psychologists watched people or animal in natural settings or controlled experiments. Later, P.F. Skinner built on this with experiments using animals like pigeon, rats, etc to study how rewards and punishments affect behavior. Observational method become a key tool, especially for studying things that wouldn't be experimented on directly, like how kids play in a playground. Around the same time as one of Francis Galton was fascinated by how people differ. He wanted to measure things like intelligence and personality. In 1880s, Walton set up a lab in London where he tested people's abilities like their reaction time on memories. He also created early surveys and questionnaires. This was the start of the survey methods, which collects information from lots of people to spot patterns. Galton's works led to psychometry. He inspired Alfred Binet, who created the first intelligence test in 1905, to help identify children who needed extra help in school. Binet's test measured skills like problem solving and memory, and it became the basis for modern IQ tests. Another key figure, Carl Pearson, developed the correlational methods in the late 80s, which uses math to see how things like stress and school days are correlated without proving one versus the other. In Vienna, Sigmund Freud took a different path to assess the human mind. Starting in the 1890s, he focused on the hidden part of the mind, what he called the unconscious mind. Freud developed the case study method where he studied one person at a time in great detail. He listened to his patient stories, dreams, and memories to understand their emotions and struggles. Freud's ideas about dreams, childhood, and hidden desires shaped psychoanalysis, a way of understanding the mind that is still influencing in therapy today. His case studies, though not always scientific today, standards, added a personal story based approaches to psychology. By the mid 20th century, some psychologists felt that experiments and measurements missed the human side of the mind. Carl Rogers and Abraham Maslow started humanistic psychology and developed qualitative methods like interviews and open ended questions to explore how people experience life. For example, Rogers would ask a client, "How do you feel about yourselves?" and listen carefully to understand their emotions. These methods from philosophy, especially phenomenology, which is about understanding people's personal experiences. So, we can see that the qualitative methods are less about numbers and more about stories, making them perfect for studying things like happiness or coping with trauma. In the 1950s, psychology took another big turn with the cognitive revolution. Psychologists like Ulrika Neisser wanted to study how mind process information, things like memory, attention, and problem solving. They brought back the experimental method, but with new tools like early computers to test how people think. For example, they might ask someone to memorize a list of words and see how many they recall under different conditions. This moment was inspired by advances in technologies and ideas from computer science, which compared the mind to a computer processing data. Cognitive psychology led to experiments that showed how we solve puzzles or make decisions, and it is still a major part of psychology today. In the modern era, today psychological methods are like a giant toolbox with each tool suited for different questions. Here is a short introduction of them. Experimental method. These methods test how one thinks affect another by changing something specific and seeing what happens, like the amount of sleep someone gets and like how well they remember things. It is done in control settings like a lab to make sure the results are clear. Now, it includes brain scans like fMRI to see which parts of the brain light up during tasks like solving math problem. Next, observation method. This involves watching and recording how people or animal behave without changing their environment. It is used when experiments are not possible. It is used in fields like child psychology using audio video recordings to study behavior in detail. For example, researchers watch how baby learn language by observing their reaction to sound, or how children share their toys on a playground, or how animals act in a zoo. Next, correlation method. It looks at how do things like stress and school grades are related without saying one causes the others. It helps spot pattern in data like social media posts to find relationship between things like screen time and mental health. Next is survey method. This method is used to gather data by asking questions to a group of people about their feelings, thoughts, or actions to learn about the large growth. It is great for understanding opinion, behavioral characteristics, or habits of the population through questionnaire or interviews. Today, online surveys now reach millions, helping study trends like anxiety during global events. Next, case study method. It involves an in-depth, detailed examination of a specific case within its real life context. It is a quantitative research method used to explore and understand complex phenomena like a rare mental condition or a unique like history. It is used in clinical psychology to understand rare disorders like the dissociated identity disorders or etc., often combining interviews with brain imaging. Qualitative method, it focuses on understanding pupils' personal experiences, feelings, or stories through methods like interviews or focus groups, and analyze these non-quantitative data to understand their concepts, opinions, and experiences. It focuses on exploring why and how behind phenomena rather than just quantifying occurrences. These methods are particularly useful for in depth exploration, generating new ideas, and understanding complex social realities like how different communities experience emotions or identity. Next, psychometrics. Psychometric tests are standardized assessment designed to measure an individual's mental capability, personality traits, and behavioral style. They are used to evaluate a person's suitability for a particular role or career path and are frequently used in recruitment, training, and leadership development. These tests aim to provide an objective and unbiased evaluation of various attributes, helping organizations make informed decisions. Tests like the SAT or personality quizzes are now digital with advanced math to ensure they are fair and accurate. Next, from Wundt's lab to modern brain scan, psychological methods have grown from simple ideas into a powerful science. Each method's experiment saw observation, survey, case study, correlation, and qualitative approaches started with someone curious about the mind. Together, they help us understand why we laugh, cry, learn, or struggle. And they guide everything from therapy to education. This journey is sparked by pioneers like Wundt, Watson, Dalton, Freud, Rogers, and Neisser. Continue to evolve, lighting the way to new discoveries about what makes us human. So, guys, this is all in this video. If you have any doubt or queries, you can comment in the comment section. And if you want separate videos on each method, please comment below. I'll make a detailed video on that. So, guys, we will meet in the next video with an interesting topic. Till then, keep watching and keep learning with me. Bye bye. Take care and stay tuned.